Here's something we discovered after interviewing hundreds of successful savers. The ones who accumulated emergency funds fastest, they never saw the money leave. They automated everything, then deliberately forgot about it. Sounds counterintuitive, doesn't it? Most financial advice tells you to monitor every penny, track your spending, review your accounts daily. But our research revealed the opposite. People who built short-term savings most efficiently employed what we call strategic ignorance. They automated deposits into accounts they actively avoided checking. Today, we're detailing a system that deposited $5,000 into savings accounts within 6 months. No willpower required, no constant monitoring, just setup, automation, then forgetting it exists. The invisible piggy bank works because it removes psychology from the equation. You can't spend what you don't see. You can't rationalize what you've forgotten. The money simply accumulates while you live your normal life. Why 6 months? Research from behavioral economics shows this timeline works. Long enough to build substantial savings, short enough to maintain motivation, and achievable enough that ordinary income earners can reach it. Let's examine how this system operates. 20 years ago, researchers at MIT conducted a fascinating experiment. They gave 2 groups identical savings goals. Group 1 received detailed tracking tools, budgeting apps, and daily reminders. Group 2 set up automatic transfers, then received no further information for 6 months. Which group accumulated more? Group 2 exceeded their targets by 23%. Group 1 frequently abandoned their goals within 3 months. The principle driving this outcome? Behavioral scientists call it decision fatigue. Every time you consciously choose to save money, your brain expends mental energy. Make that decision hundreds of times, and eventually your willpower depletes. Automation eliminates decisions entirely. Dr. Richard Thaler won the Nobel Prize, partly for documenting this phenomenon. His research at the University of Chicago demonstrated that people consistently underestimate their future ability to resist spending. We intend to save. Then we encounter a sale, an emergency, a justification. The intention evaporates. But money automatically transferred. That money never enters the temptation zone. It disappears before your conscious mind can intercept it. One study published in the Journal of Consumer Research tracked 1,200 households attempting to build emergency funds. Those using manual transfers saved an average of $1,400 over 6 months. Those using automation, they averaged $4,800, more than 3 times as much. The difference wasn't income. It wasn't discipline. It was system design. Your conscious mind cannot spend what it doesn't know exists. That's the foundation of the invisible piggy bank. Let's examine the numbers. Saving $5,000 in 6 months requires approximately $833 monthly, or roughly $192 weekly, or about $27 daily. These figures intimidate most people initially. But here's what our research revealed. Nobody saves $5,000 through a single action. They save it through multiple small automated streams that collectively reach the target. Think of it as financial tributaries feeding a river. According to analysis from the Federal Reserve Survey of Consumer Finances, median household income for Americans over 50 exceeds $75,000 annually. After taxes, that translates to approximately $4,800 monthly take-home pay. Saving $833 from $4,800 represents 17%, a substantial but achievable percentage. However, the invisible piggy bank doesn't approach it this way. Instead of one large transfer, it creates multiple small automated deposits from different sources. This strategy reduces psychological resistance while maintaining mathematical efficiency. Consider this breakdown. Direct deposit rerouting captures $400 monthly. Roundup programs contribute $80 monthly. Cashback rewards add $50 monthly. Bill reduction savings provide $100 monthly. Automated microtransfers supply $100 monthly. Subscription elimination yields $103 monthly. Total, exactly $833 monthly, reaching $5,000 in 6 months. Each individual component feels manageable. Combined, they achieve the target. A study from Duke University's Behavioral Economics Lab confirmed this approach. Participants asked to save $800 monthly from one source succeeded 31% of the time. Participants saving the same amount from 5 different automated sources succeeded 78% of the time. The mathematics remains identical. The psychology transforms entirely. One participant in our research stored her login information in a locked safe deposit box at a separate bank branch. Excessive? Perhaps. Effective? Absolutely. She never made a single unnecessary withdrawal over 2 years. The key principle: make accessing the account more difficult than leaving it alone. The most powerful automation stream redirects income before you see it. Most payroll systems allow deposit splitting, sending your paycheck to multiple accounts simultaneously. This feature exists because employers assume you might want separate accounts for different purposes. Perfect for our strategy. Here's the critical insight. Money never deposited into your checking account never feels like your money. You don't miss what you never had. Start conservatively. Request that $200 from each paycheck goes directly to your invisible account. If you're paid biweekly, that's $400 monthly, nearly half your target. The setup process takes approximately 15 minutes. Contact your payroll department or access your company's self-service portal. You'll need your invisible account's routing number and account number. Most systems process changes within 1 or 2 pay cycles. Does this strategy work for self-employed individuals? Absolutely, though it requires slightly different execution. Set up automatic recurring transfers from your business checking account to your invisible account on the same dates you typically pay yourself. Many business banking platforms offer this functionality. Research from Harvard Business School examined this exact approach. Professor Sean Akor tracked 600 employees over 9 months. Those using direct deposit splitting accumulated emergency funds at rates 290% higher than those manually transferring equivalent amounts. Why such a dramatic difference? Manual transfers require action. Action requires memory. Memory requires mental energy. And mental energy depletes throughout the day. By 6 p.m., when most people remember they intended to transfer money, decision fatigue has already consumed their willpower. They rationalize postponing until tomorrow. Tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes never. Direct deposit splitting eliminates every single one of these failure points. The transfer happens automatically, repeatedly, invisibly. One 53-year-old accountant we interviewed described it perfectly. I increased my direct deposit split every quarter for 2 years. I now save $600 per paycheck automatically. Honestly, I couldn't tell you when I last checked that account. It's just invisible money building itself. That's the goal. Roundup programs represent the most overlooked automation stream. These tools monitor your spending, round each purchase to the nearest dollar, then transfer the difference to savings. Buy coffee for $3.75. The program rounds to $4, transferring 25 cents to your invisible account. Individually insignificant, collectively substantial. Several platforms provide this functionality. Acorns, Chime, and Capital pioneered the category. Major banks now offer similar features within their existing apps. How much can roundups actually accumulate? A study published in the Journal of Financial Planning tracked 500 households using roundup programs for 1 year. Average monthly deposits ranged from $60 to $120, depending on spending frequency. Median accumulation was $85 monthly, exceeding $1,000 annually from loose change. For our 6-month $5,000 goal, roundups contribute approximately $80 monthly, or $480 total, nearly 10% of the target. The beauty of roundups: they're completely passive after initial setup. You spend normally. The program handles everything else. Here's the optimal configuration. Connect the roundup program to your most frequently used debit or credit card, whichever you use for daily purchases. Set transfers to occur weekly rather than after each transaction. This reduces notification fatigue while maintaining consistency. Route roundups directly to your invisible account, not an intermediary app account. Some people worry that roundups will overdraw their checking accounts. Valid concern, but easily addressed. Most programs let you set minimum balance thresholds. If your checking drops below, say, $500, roundups pause automatically until you're back above that level. One caution: don't use roundups as an excuse to spend more. The program works because it captures money you're spending anyway. Increasing spending to generate more roundups defeats the entire purpose. A Reddit discussion in the personal finance community highlighted this trap. One user calculated he'd spend an extra $2,000 that year because he subconsciously justified purchases by thinking, "At least I'm saving the roundup." He'd saved $140 in roundups while wasting $2,000. Terrible math. Use roundups for existing spending patterns only. Most credit cards offer cashback rewards. Most people either forget about them or spend them on statement credits. Both approaches waste potential savings. Instead, redirect all cashback rewards directly to your invisible account. The average cashback card returns 1 to 2% on purchases. Some categories earn more, perhaps 3% on groceries, 5% on gas during promotional quarters. Calculate your typical monthly spending. If you spend $2,500 monthly on a card earning 1.5% average cashback, that's $37.50 monthly, or $225 over 6 months. Doesn't sound transformational until you remember it requires zero additional effort. You're spending that money anyway. Why not capture the rewards? Here's the strategy. First, identify which cards you currently use that offer cashback. Log into each account. Navigate to rewards redemption settings. Most cards allow you to set up automatic redemption when rewards reach a certain threshold, often $25 or $50. Second, change the redemption method from statement credit to bank deposit. You'll need to provide your invisible account information. This is the critical step most people skip. Third, set the redemption threshold as low as possible. Frequent small deposits maintain momentum better than infrequent large ones. Research from Yale's School of Management demonstrated this effect. They studied retirement account contributions and found that people who saw monthly deposits maintained higher satisfaction and made fewer unnecessary withdrawals than those who saw quarterly deposits, even when annual amounts were identical. Frequency creates psychological reinforcement. If your card doesn't allow direct bank deposits, use this workaround. Set up automatic redemption to a PayPal or Venmo account, then automate transfers from there to your invisible account. Adds one extra step but achieves the same result. One 57-year-old teacher we interviewed uses 5 different cashback cards strategically for various spending categories. She optimizes rewards across groceries, gas, restaurants, and general purchases. Her monthly cashback averages $95, accumulating over $1,100 annually, all automatically deposited to an account she hasn't checked in 18 months. This stream requires initial effort, but generates ongoing automatic savings. The principle: reduce recurring bills, then immediately automate the difference to your invisible account before lifestyle inflation consumes it. Start by auditing your 3 largest recurring expenses after housing and transportation. For most people, these are insurance, utilities, and subscriptions. Insurance often provides the biggest opportunity. According to data from the National Association of Insurance Commissioners, 67% of people maintain the same auto and home insurance for over 5 years. Yet rates fluctuate significantly. Shopping around typically saves 15 to 30% without reducing coverage. Here's the process. Gather your current insurance declarations pages. Use comparison websites like Policy Genius or The Zebra to get competing quotes. These platforms don't require endless phone calls. Just input your information once, receive multiple quotes within minutes. When you find better rates, switch carriers. Calculate your monthly savings immediately, within 24 hours. Set up an automatic monthly transfer to your invisible account for that exact amount. Why immediately? Research from Stanford Psychology Department found that people who wait more than 48 hours before automating savings lose motivation 73% of the time. The "I'll do it later" mentality leads to never doing it at all. One 62-year-old engineer we interviewed saved $82 monthly by switching auto insurance. He automated that $82 to his invisible account the same afternoon. Over 6 months, this single action contributed $492 toward his $5,000 goal, nearly 10% of the target from one afternoon's work. Utilities offer similar opportunities. Many providers now offer budget billing. They calculate your average annual usage and charge a fixed monthly amount. This eliminates seasonal spikes. While your total annual cost stays roughly the same, you avoid those brutal summer air conditioning or winter heating bills. More importantly, budget billing creates predictability. You know exactly what you'll pay. Any reduction you achieve through conservation, better insulation, LED bulbs, programmable thermostats, becomes immediately visible. Install a programmable thermostat if you haven't already. According to the Department of Energy, they save the average household $180 annually. Automate $15 monthly to your invisible account to capture that savings. The pattern repeats. Find savings, automated immediately, forget about it. The average American household maintains 12 paid subscriptions. More surprising, they only actively use 6 of them. Subscription creep happens gradually. You sign up for a free trial, forget to cancel, start paying monthly. You add a streaming service to watch one show, never cancel after finishing it. You subscribe to a meal kit service during a busy month, then continue paying long after you've stopped using it. These forgotten subscriptions drain hundreds of dollars annually. A study from West Virginia University tracked household subscription spending over 5 years. They found that subscription costs increased an average of 23% annually, not from price increases, but from accumulation. People kept adding subscriptions while rarely removing them. Here's your action plan. Download your last 3 months of bank and credit card statements. Highlight every recurring charge. You're looking for anything that happens weekly, monthly, or annually: streaming services, gym memberships, software subscriptions, meal kits, subscription boxes, apps, cloud storage, online storage, magazines, newspapers. Create a spreadsheet with 3 columns: subscription name, monthly cost, last time actively used. Be ruthlessly honest about that 3rd column. When did you actually watch that streaming service? When did you last read that magazine? When did you last use that gym membership? Research from UCLA's Behavioral Economics Lab found that people overestimate their future use of subscriptions by an average of 340%. We believe we'll use them more than we actually do. The gym membership you swear you'll start using next month. History suggests you won't. Eliminate anything unused in the past 60 days. This typically removes 4 to 6 subscriptions immediately, freeing $40.80 monthly. But here's the critical step most people skip. Don't just cancel subscriptions. Immediately automate the freed money to your invisible account. The same day you cancel, set up the transfer. One 55-year-old real estate agent we interviewed found $127 in monthly subscriptions she'd forgotten about. She canceled 6 of them, saving $103 monthly. That afternoon, she automated $103 monthly transfers to her invisible account. Over 6 months, this contributed $618 toward her savings goal, all from services she wasn't even using. The psychological trigger matters here. Cancel first. Automate immediately. Don't give yourself time to enjoy the freed money. Treat the cancellation and automation as one combined action. Several fintech companies have developed algorithms that analyze your spending patterns, identify small amounts you won't miss, then automatically transfer them to savings. These aren't the roundup programs we discussed earlier. These are intelligent systems that learn your cash flow and move money during optimal windows. Digit pioneered this category, followed by competitors like Capital and Oportun. Here's how they function. The algorithm connects to your checking account and monitors deposits, withdrawals, recurring bills, and spending patterns over 2 to 3 weeks. It identifies your typical low and high balance points. Then it begins making small transfers, usually $5, $30, during periods when your balance is highest. The transfers intentionally vary in amount and timing. Why? Because unpredictable transfers prevent you from mentally budgeting around them. If you knew exactly $50 disappeared every Friday, you'd mentally adjust. When amounts and dates vary, your brain never fully accounts for them. Research from Princeton's psychology department documented this phenomenon. They found that variable savings amounts resulted in 41% higher accumulation rates than fixed amounts over 12 months. Despite identical average transfer sizes, our brains adapt to patterns. Variability prevents adaptation. These micro-transfer systems typically accumulate $100, $150 monthly for users with moderate incomes. That's $600, $900 over 6 months, 18% of our $5,000 target. The setup takes about 10 minutes. Download the app, connect your checking account, set your savings goal, enable automatic transfers. The algorithm handles everything else. One important consideration: these services usually charge small monthly fees, typically $2, $3. Factor that into your calculations. You're paying for the automation and intelligence. For most people, the convenience and consistency justify the cost. A caution from our research: don't use multiple micro-transfer algorithms simultaneously. They can conflict, potentially causing overdrafts. Choose one system and commit to it. The first 14 days determine success or failure. Research from University College London found that habit formation requires an average of 66 days, but the first 2 weeks represent the highest abandonment risk. During this period, you're tempted to check your invisible account constantly. You want to see progress. You want validation that the system works. This impulse undermines the entire strategy. Here's your 2-week protocol. Day 1 through 3, set up all automation streams. This includes opening your invisible account, establishing direct deposit splitting, activating roundup programs, redirecting cashback rewards, automating bill reduction savings, eliminating subscriptions, and automating that savings, and enabling micro-transfer algorithms. Expect this initial setup to consume 3 to 4 hours. Do it during a single weekend afternoon. Treat it like an important appointment. Day 4 through 7, verify everything activated correctly. Check that your direct deposit split occurred. Confirm roundups are transferring. Validate that cashback rewards are routing properly. Ensure bill reductions are automated. Make certain subscription savings transfers are scheduled. This is your last intentional interaction with these systems for 6 months. Day 8 through 14, actively avoid checking your invisible account. This requires discipline. Your brain will generate excuses. I just want to make sure everything's working. I just want to see the progress. I'll check once quickly. Resist. The urge to check diminishes after 2 weeks. Research from the University of Pennsylvania's Behavioral Science Initiative tracked this pattern across multiple automation strategies. They found that people who checked their savings accounts more than twice during the first month were 67% more likely to make unnecessary withdrawals within 6 months. Checking triggers spending. Ignorance triggers accumulation. One participant in our study implemented an unusual but effective strategy. She asked her adult daughter to change her invisible account password. She couldn't access the account without asking her daughter, creating deliberate friction that prevented casual checking. Extreme, yes? Effective? Absolutely. She completed her 6-month goal without a single withdrawal. Something will happen during these 6 months that makes you want to access your invisible account. Emergency expenses, unexpected opportunities, justified needs that feel urgent. Research from Ohio State University's Consumer Science Department found that 78% of people attempting to build emergency funds encounter at least one spending crisis during the accumulation period. Most of these crises, when examined objectively, weren't actually crises. Here's how to handle temptations. First, establish a cooling-off protocol before accessing your invisible account. Write this rule and post it somewhere visible. I must wait 72 hours and discuss the withdrawal with someone I trust before accessing my invisible savings. 3 days provides perspective. Many urgent needs reveal themselves as mere wants after 72 hours. Plus, discussing it with someone else, a spouse, adult child, or trusted friend introduces accountability. Second, maintain a small buffer in your checking account, specifically for unexpected expenses. Financial planners typically recommend $500, $1,000. This buffer handles most minor emergencies without touching your invisible account. Third, remember that the automation streams we've discussed generate savings without impacting your lifestyle. The money you're saving wasn't available for spending anyway. Direct deposit splitting means you never saw it. Roundups are loose change. Cashback rewards were bonus money. Bill reductions didn't reduce service quality. Subscriptions were going unused. None of these automation streams require sacrifice. They simply capture money that was being wasted or was never in your spending pool to begin with. A study from Boston College's Retirement Research Center examined this distinction. They found that people who saved from found money or invisible money experienced zero decrease in reported happiness or life satisfaction. But people who saved through active spending reduction reported decreased satisfaction even when saving identical amounts. The invisible approach works because it doesn't create deprivation. After 6 months, you'll check your invisible account for the first time. This moment provides remarkable psychological impact. Set a specific date on your calendar. Make it ceremonial. One couple we interviewed scheduled a special dinner to celebrate their reveal. Another person invited his adult children to witness the moment. Why does this matter? Research from Harvard's Positive Psychology Center found that celebrating financial milestones increases the likelihood of continuing positive financial behaviors by 58%. When you log into your account after 6 months, you'll likely see something close to or exceeding $5,000. The exact amount depends on your specific automation mix and any interest accumulated. Here's what typically happens psychologically. You experience surprise, despite knowing intellectually how much should be there. Because you haven't watched it accumulate gradually, the total feels larger than expected. You feel proud of having completed the goal. You want to do it again. That last point matters most. The invisible approach creates positive associations with saving rather than the deprivation and struggle most people associate with it. A University of Michigan study tracking long-term financial behavior found that people who used automation strategies continued saving at higher rates 5 years later, compared to those who used willpower-based approaches, even when both groups hit their initial goals. Success breeds more success when the success feels easy. Now you face a decision. What do you do with the $5,000? If you built this for a specific purpose, emergency fund, down payment, major purchase, you can deploy it. But consider this alternative, leave it there. Start again with a new 6-month goal. Keep the invisible account growing while you build other savings goals through the same automation strategies. Many people discover they enjoy having this invisible money accumulating. It provides security without requiring constant attention. One 68-year-old retiree we interviewed has maintained her invisible account strategy for 4 years. She now has over $40,000 that accumulated invisibly while she lived normally. Let's return to where we started. The most successful savers we studied didn't monitor their money obsessively. They automated it, then deliberately ignored it. This contradicts conventional financial advice. Most experts tell you to track every penny, review your accounts constantly, maintain detailed budgets. For some people, that approach works. Our research suggests it fails for most. The invisible piggy bank succeeds because it aligns with human psychology rather than fighting it. We're bad at delayed gratification. We're excellent at forgetting things. The system leverages our weaknesses. You've learned 6 automation streams. Direct deposit splitting contributes $400 monthly. Roundup programs add $80 monthly. Cashback redirection provides $50 monthly. Bill reduction savings supply $100 monthly. Subscription elimination yields $103 monthly. Micro-transfer algorithms contribute $100 monthly. Combined, these streams deposit $833 monthly, exactly $5,000 over 6 months. Each stream requires minimal setup. None require ongoing attention. The beauty of this approach, it doesn't require personality change. You don't need to become a saver type. You don't need iron discipline or endless willpower. You just need to spend 4 hours setting up automation, then have the discipline to forget about it. That's a trade most people can make. One final thought from our research: the participants who succeeded weren't special. They weren't wealthier, more educated, or more disciplined than those who failed. They simply designed systems that didn't require special qualities. That's what the invisible piggy bank does. It makes saving automatic, invisible, and easy. Your turn now. This week, open your invisible account. Next week, set up your automation streams. 2 weeks from now, forget about it entirely. 6 months from today, you'll have $5,000 you didn't miss saving. That's the power of money you never see.